what is up, guys? Welcome to a very special Inland Sports Show, live and amplified on Wednesday night. And truth be told, this is going to be a very short and sweet show tonight because behind the scenes, I've been doing a lot of stuff to prep for the upcoming football season, which includes getting a lot of the graphics built and doing a lot of the planning. In fact, I now have a master schedule for all 11 weeks of the regular season, which includes week 0 of all the games and all the teams in the Inland Sports Show coverage area. So we'll start talking about more of those big-time matchups, including those in week 0 coming up on August 22nd in future Inland Sports Shows as we get a little bit closer. We're about a month away, 5-6 weeks away from those first games of the season. So with that said, doing a lot of football prep, building, like I said, building the graphics, creating some new content, and kind of game planning on what we want to do this upcoming football season. You know, we do our Ken Sporting Goods must-see game, the Bass Athletics Play of the Week. We might, roll out some new wrinkles as well. So that's what we're doing. But as we promised, we've got football in every single show that we are doing now leading up to the start of the football season. Last week, we had Coach Galliano from San Antonio. We talked with SBVC head coach James Griffin, and we'll talk a lot more high school football in the next couple of weeks, including some of the matchups to look forward to coming up in week 0, who are some of the teams and the players to watch. And, of course, we'll have our preseason top 25 poll, which is always a lot of fun and sometimes controversial. So look for that in the coming weeks as well. But right now in this show, we want to check in with the new head football coach for RCC. I say new, but he's a very familiar name, Kevin Kraft. He ran the offense last year for his father, the legendary Tom Kraft. Well, now he has stepped into the head coaching role, and he will lead the Tigers this upcoming season. And the good news, too, if you're a Tom Kraft fan, is Coach Kraft, Tom Kraft, will be sticking with the program. He will be the associate head coach. He'll also coach up the quarterbacks for Kevin as he takes over the program now, which won 2 state national titles under Tom Kraft, who is a Riverside Sport Hall of Famer, and just last season went to the Southern California Championship game and another battle with Mount Sac. That is definitely a rivalry between the Mounties and the Tigers. So we had a chance to catch up with Coach Kevin Kraft at a recent summer practice as they start getting ready to put on helmets and pads very soon and get ready for that first game of the season, which will be coming up on August 30th against Long Beach City. Here's our interview with the new head football coach for the RCC Tigers, Kevin Kraft.
Inland Sports.
Okay, we're here with RCC head football coach Kevin Kraft. And Coach, right now here in the month of July, we're kind of ramping up to August 30th, which will be the first game of the year. How exciting is it to, officially be the head coach and kind of put your stamp on the program now?
Yeah, it's really exciting. I think a lot of the guys on the team, especially the returners, are real excited to get everything going again. It was a long off season for them. There was a lot of uncertainty for a lot of our guys. And, the credit goes to them, really. They didn't know if they were going to be here or not. A lot of them were thinking, I don't know if I want to play here, if it's not going to be with the same coaching staff. Credit to a lot of the coaches who have been together with us, holding it all together this whole time, going out, trying to bring in recruits against a lot of negative recruiting, saying you don't know what's going to go on over there. So I think everybody's excited, finally, to get football season back underway and get it going.
So not only for the Tigers do they get you as head coach, but your dad, Tom Kraft, is also staying on. So what's his role with the Tigers this year?
Yeah, he said he got a taste of the retirement sitting at home, and he was
not so much fun.
Yeah, he still wants to be active and involved. He still wants to coach football. Sure. He doesn't want to do all the things. So I told him I'd given him an interview, and
how'd he do?
Yeah, he must have done okay. So yeah, I've got him as the quarterback coach. I've got him as assistant head coach to kind of give me advice. Obviously, the winningest coach in Southern California history.
You'd be silly not to listen.
Is a great resource for me. And so, I'm excited to have him. I know all the coaches who have been here. We're excited to have him back and try to get it going.
All right, so we're 5-6 weeks away from that first game of the year. What do you like about the team that you have out here right now? Where do you think the strengths might be for the Tigers?
Yeah, I think we've got some really good players coming back. Like I said, the credit to the guys who stuck out this process especially with the new rule changes in the state and transfer rules. And, we have some really explosive players. Dominic Cox is the #1 receiver in the country coming back. He led the country in yards and touchdowns with over 1,200 yards receiving. We've got some great corners, Assad and Ahmad Chapman, who are returning. We've got Micah Valenzuela, who had to sit out last. I mean, we've got some guys who can make plays all around the field. Trinidad Lewis is probably the best tackle in the state. And we got a lot of young guys who show some promise, but we got to bring them along. So we're really focused right now in the summer on building the culture of the team, setting a standard, and skill development. That's really been the focus of everything going on right now.
Not to put words in the returning players' mouths, but do you feel like there's a sense of, hey, there was unfinished business. We could have went all the way last year. If we had another chance, any sort of sentiment like that?
I think every team is different. And all the, especially at this level where half of your team wasn't here last year. So they don't know the history. And everything's new to them. So we have to try to build the team and focus on just one game at a time. We have to merge our team, bond them, and really focus on being the best team we can be by game 1 against Long Beach out here. So I think that's really the focus, is one game at a time, one practice at a time, one rep at a time, and really not looking around at what's going on or whatever happened last year, because that's how you find yourself in trouble.
All right, Coach Kraft, so, last year it was a historic season offensively. Brady Jones put up some awesome numbers, the total yards and touchdowns, all that stuff, broke records. So is there a quarterback battle right now, and how's the offense taking shape?
Yeah, we don't promise anything to anybody. Totally wide open for all the guys. Jared Doolittle, who finished our season last year as our backup quarterback, he's probably had the most reps in the offense over the course of last year. But we're totally wide open between him. Chris Cooper is also coming back. He played in a couple games last year. He was in Golden West and had a medical redshirt year. And then we have Brian Wilson, our Iola Roosevelt kid who went to Campbell. He bounced back to us, so he's involved in it. And then we've got Noah Sandoval, an Upland kid who he's been gray shirted, and he's been a pleasant surprise for us. So I think all those guys are learning. They're all getting a lot of reps. They're all trying to develop, and we're trying to figure out, probably sooner than later, who's gonna kind of separate themselves so that they can get more reps and start to develop it.
Yeah, what do you think that timeline looks like? Is it 2 weeks out before that first game, 3 weeks, 1 week, 1 day?
Yeah, I think it's all case by case. We're not opposed to playing multiple guys. And we had that approach last year when Brady was with us. He was with us all spring. He took all the reps in the spring. And when he came out in the summer, we opened it up between the quarterbacks we had and him. And he didn't separate himself until a week before our first scrimmage. So it might go on all the way until then. And we might end up playing multiple quarterbacks in that first game. And if we can find a guy who starts to separate himself and get him more of the reps and develop him more, then that's a bonus. We need to focus on that.
Do you guys have a scrimmage against another team or just an inter squad?
Yeah, one of the things that happened was I got on late and a lot of teams were already organizing scrimmages. It was hard for me to find a scrimmage. So I was able to get something going with Orange Coast. Okay. So we're going to be down there this year. It's going to be on the website soon. I'm just getting confirmation that they have that facility reservation because they had a 3-way. So I tried to pull them away from that.
So that'd be very telling in terms of quarterback or maybe certain other positions too, right? So you can see some live action.
We got to see what we're like. Yeah, we're not trying to win it. We can't keep score, but we just want to see who we have and what it's going to look like.
All right, finally, Coach Kraft, I'm sure there's a long list of great attributes and things that you can say your dad did well. But give me one thing that you're like, you know what, it just really impressed me. I got to make sure I continue to do that. Something that he did, that you feel like is, indicative of a winning coach. Give me just one thing.
You know what? The thing that impresses me the most about my dad is his ability to continue to adjust, adapt, evolve himself. In 2010, the first year that he took over here, I was with him. I just finished up at UCLA. They asked me to be a quarterback coach there. I wasn't done playing, so I came here with him that first year. And the offense that we ran that first year compared to the offense that we just ran this past year is completely different. There's some similarities, but it's different. We are always changing based off of the trends of the game, the rule changes, who we have on our team personnel wise. And he's been willing to make changes. Like last year, he just turned it over to me, the offense. And I think that it takes a lot of, it takes something to turn over something like that you've done your whole life to somebody else. And
now you turned it over to him?
Well, I don't think so, but he's continuing to evolve and what his roles are and advise me, and kind of has taken a back seat and gone, hey, you might want to think about some of these things, you know. And I'm just, that's the thing I'm the most impressed with. He's won in every decade of his life a championship in his 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. So that's really something special when you can maintain that sort of evolution throughout your career, especially in a sport like this. It's so complicated.
Yeah, that keeps changing and changing, like you mentioned. Riverside Hall of Famer, too. The great Tom Kraft. That is Kevin Kraft. He's the head football coach of the RCC Tigers. We'll have much more on RCC football as we lead up to that first game on August 30th right here on Riverside TV.
Inland Sports. All right, good stuff from Coach Kevin Kraft. My favorite part of the interview was probably when he said he gave his dad an interview for his current position on the team, and he did pretty well, so he hired him. Of course, why wouldn't you, right? And yes, we will have more on RCC, not only here on the Inland Sports Show, but also on Riverside TV. We're still dotting the I's and crossing the T's, but we're going to have RCC football back on Riverside TV this upcoming season, and we are very excited about that. So a lot more on the Tigers as we march up to August 30th and that season opener against Long Beach City. All right, when we come back here on this edition of the Inland Sports Show, a short and sweet edition, as I preface the show that I'm been working behind the scenes a lot on the preparation for the upcoming football season, so didn't have a lot of time to book guests this week, but we still got stuff to talk about, including NBA Summer League for our guy Carter Bryant, and coming up for Lamont Butler. We also got to talk about the upcoming Major League Baseball draft. It's going to be a very good day, or days in the plural, for Corona High School, and also our guy Nick Dumesnil from California Baptist University. So that's coming up here on this edition of the Inland Sports Show right after this.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and letterman's jackets. Bass Athletics in Corona, driven by passion and hard work, Bass Athletics helps student athletes push their limits, compete with heart, and build the discipline to succeed in sports, school, and life. For more information on the Bass Private School, visit bassathletics.com. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands with Dr. Marcus Paulson. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist that you can trust. And Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken.
Is it important to have your kid on the A-team? Absolutely not. If you have some serious goals for a young athlete, don't forget to focus on the bigger picture. Instead of trying to get them on the A-team, focus on finding them a good coach. Coaches who attract the best players aren't always great developers. Whereas a coach who can instill what your child needs to reach their potential, that's priceless. Dumesnil.
The Inland Sports Show is proud to partner with Dr. Marcus Paulson and Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands. Dr. Paulson and his team work with children, teens, and adults using orthodontic products like traditional braces and Invisalign to make a difference in the appearance, comfort, and function of each patient's teeth. Paulson Orthodontics welcomes new patients, so schedule a visit today. Paulson Orthodontics. We make braces fun.
And we are back here live and amplified on a Wednesday night with a brief edition, short and sweet, of the Inland Sports Show as we kind of gear up for football, which takes a lot of time behind the scenes to prepare, whether it's logistically, like I told you, we built a master schedule each and every week of the high school football season, all the games in our coverage area, which games are we going to cover, how many people are we going to dedicate to covering those games and building graphics and new sponsorship things. So a lot going on behind the scenes. And plus, just like you guys, summer is kind of our downtime, right? To kind of catch our breath at least a little bit before football arrives in just about 1 month. All right, before we talk more football here, we got to talk about the upcoming Major League Baseball draft, and it should be a very good couple of days for, well, the Corona High School Panthers. You can see Seth Hernandez and Billy Carlson, a couple of the Panthers that should hear their name called in the Major League Baseball draft, which will begin on Sunday. In fact, Hernandez, number 22 there, and there's Billy Carlson on the right-hand side with a big smile. They look like they're going to be first-round draft picks, maybe even both of them in the top 10. Seth Hernandez has been rumored to maybe be in one of the top 2 or 3. So Billy Carlson, Seth Hernandez, also Brady Ebel, of course, the son of Dodgers third base coach Dino Ebel. He's going to be in the mix as well. He might be a first-rounder, maybe a second-rounder. Ethan Bingaman, also another Corona Panther who could hear his name called during the Major League Baseball draft. He's an Auburn Tigers commit. So all these guys have the college option, of course, but they're going to go so high. And to be honest, they're going to get a lot of money. And how do you say no to that? So Billy Carlson and Seth Hernandez, surefire first-round picks, maybe even inside the top 10. Brady Ebel could be a first-rounder. And then also keep an eye on Ethan Bingaman. Now, another local guy that could hear his name called, in fact, he will, but will he hear it in the first round? That is Nick Dumesnil, the all-whack center fielder for California Baptist University. Big-time hitter, great defensively out there in center field as well. He's projected to be a first round, maybe second round, somewhere in that ballpark, pun intended, for Nick Dumesnil out of CBU. And he could be the Lancers' highest Major League draft pick ever. It was Tyson Miller. It currently is Tyson Miller, who went in the 4th round to the Chicago Cubs back in 2016. But Nick looks like he's going to be a first or second round pick, depending on what happens on Sunday into Monday. But he could be their top pick. And Tyson Miller, of course, Trevor Oakes, both guys who made it to the big leagues. But Nick Dumesnil could be the highest draft pick. And if you're a high draft pick like that, you sure look like you're not, I won't say the easy path to Major League Baseball, but you sure have a lot of expectations to get to the big leagues. And Nick Dumesnil obviously warranting all this attention. He's a big-time player. So the Corona high school guys, Nick Dumesnil from CBU. We'll keep an eye on all of our local guys here with the upcoming Major League Baseball draft. Again, begins on Sunday and will continue into Monday. Other big baseball news here, at least locally in the Inland Empire. Well, for all you Dodger fans out there, there is Blake Snell, and he will be getting the start for the, I don't know about the start, but he's going to get playing time for Rancho Cucamonga as he's about to make a rehab start coming up on Thursday. So all you Dodger fans out there, you get a chance to see Blake Snell, the big-time lefty that the Dodgers picked up on Thursday. He's expected to go about 2 innings as he's coming back from a shoulder injury. And we haven't seen this guy in months. In fact, the shoulder injury happened right when the season began. It was, I think, like the first week in April when they shut him down, and he just never came back. So Blake Snell will be on the bump at some point. I'm assuming he's going to start for the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes on Thursday as he begins to rehab and help out the Dodgers. And the Dodgers are on a 6-game losing streak right now. And they could definitely use some pitching help, and Blake Snell would be a huge addition. They just got Tyler Glasnow back. Blake Trinan is making a rehab assignment, I think, with AAA Oklahoma City. So Dodger fans here in the IE, and I know there's a bunch of them, obviously. Help is on the way, and Blake Snell getting a rehab appearance with the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes coming up on Thursday. All right, now let's talk some NBA here, and our guy, Carter Bryant, the pride of Centennial High School, making his NBA Summer League debut with the San Antonio Spurs. And you know what's cool about Carter Bryant is, well, a couple things. There's a lot cool about him, but a couple things was I saw a video he did where he did American Sign Language. He signed the entire video. And I guess he's got some grandparents who are deaf or hard of hearing, so he knows ASL. So that was really cool to see him do a video on that. And then I've had several people pop up just kind of out of the woodwork saying, hey, I know Carter Bryant, or I know his family, man. What a good kid. What a good family. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. And, you know, obviously this has not happened by accident. He put in a lot of work. And just very talented with the work ethic to go with it. And Josh Giles, the head coach at Centennial, has done such a good job, not only with the program, but getting his guys ready to excel at the next level. Of course, Jared McCain a year ago was a first-round pick, another McDonald's All-American out of Centennial, who's with the Philadelphia 76ers. And now Carter Bryant, man, what a good kid and great player. Again, just made his Summer League debut with the San Antonio Spurs. And here's what Carter had to say after making his NBA debut, sort of, in this Summer League with San Antonio.
Inland Sports.
Man, it was fun. I mean, it's going to be tough. First time out playing against grown men. Guys that are going to be smarter, faster, stronger than you, all those things. So I think for me, everything was a learning experience. I got to be smarter a lot of times. A lot of the mistakes I made were just mental errors. So I think for me moving forward, I just got to look back at this film and make adjustments.
This might be a silly question, but were there any nerves at all before this one?
Genuinely, there weren't.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, usually before every game, I get some butterflies before I go out there, but there was no nerves for me. I was just excited to go and play basketball. I haven't got to play basketball since we lost to Duke, at Arizona. So for me to have Spurs across my chest and be able to represent one of the most storied franchises in NBA history, it was just, I was ready to go and compete. I mean, there's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing for me. Like, I could have had 40. I could have scored 0 points. There's always room for improvement for me. I could have made better decisions on the ball. Could have made better decisions defensively. I got to be smarter with my fouls. Got to stay more, mentally aware of certain things. I got to understand the scout a little bit better. I feel like I did a good job of that at college, but it's a different level of basketball. The game's getting played at a lot faster pace. So obviously just making that adjustment and getting better game by game. I mean, this one game isn't going to define my whole career.
Inland Sports.
All right, good stuff from Carter Bryant and Lamont Butler, the pride of Riverside Poly. the all-time leading scorer for the Bears, 4-year starter out there at Riverside Poly, of course, a March Madness legend with San Diego State, and just finished up his college career with the University of Kentucky Wildcats. He is signed with the Atlanta Hawks. We told you about that last week on the Inland Sports Show, but Lamont will make his Summer League debut coming up this week with the Atlanta Hawks. I believe their first game is on Friday, I want to say. So we've got Carter Bryant, we got Lamont Butler as well. Some big-time hoops here for our Inland Sports guys. All right, and finally here in this segment, so California Baptist University has their own athletic podcast. You might have heard about it. Yours truly, the host of the Lancers Athletic Podcast. It was we talked to a bunch of coaches and athletes out there at CBU. We're about to go back into the podcast studio and knock down a couple of more interviews to preview some of the fall sports like volleyball and men's and women's soccer, swimming as well. But we did get a chance to talk to Trevor Johnson, the new head volleyball coach for the Lancers. He's a former Lancer. He played and coached there, men's and women's, and now he is back. He was an assistant for the Georgia Bulldogs most recently, but now he is taking over the CBU program. And here's a little bit of the podcast that we did with Trevor Johnson just a couple weeks ago when he took over the program.
I walk on campus every day and I have this huge grin on my face. I'm just so thankful. You know, I look at the mountains and you know, I'm so blessed to be here. And I feel like every step that I've been at, every stop that I've been at, you know, God has prepared me for this. And so just very thankful.
All right, and we'll have more on CBU because we'll be doing a lot more of those Lancers Athletic podcasts coming up, I think, early as next week. So be on the lookout for those as we get to check in, as I mentioned, with a lot of the great coaches and athletes out there at CBU. All right, we're going to take one more very quick commercial break here on a very short and sweet edition of the Inland Sports Show as we prepare ourselves, brace ourselves for the upcoming football season. We'll be back on the Inland Sports Show right after this.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and letterman's jackets. Bass Athletics in Corona, driven by passion and hard work, Bass Athletics helps student athletes push their limits, compete with heart, and build the discipline to succeed in sports, school, and life. For more information on the Bass Private School, visit bassathletics.com. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands with Dr. Marcus Paulson. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist that you can trust. And Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken.
What up, y'all? Boostman here with a quick 2 cent. Student athletes, during competition, things will always happen that's out of your control. That's why the best athletes are the ones with short memories. Whether it's a bad call by the ref, a questionable play by your coach, or a missed opportunity, whining about it will never solve anything. The ability to move on to the next play after something doesn't go your way is a skill that all great competitors share. So many times it's not just about what you do during competition, it's about how you respond. Boostman.
Sports.
And Clayton Kershaw, man, he is going to be added to the All-Star team as a Legends pick, the MLB commissioner, making sure Kershaw gets into the game. And there's even conversation, Patrick, that he might be the National League starting pitcher as a tip of the cap to honor the great Kersh.
This is what I love about baseball, is they can kind of make a move like this. And I think it does also help. He's pitched pretty well, dude. That helps on top of this. I mean, come on, we're going 20 years strong here, dude. I think this is an awesome move. And of course, Dodger fans are going to love it. But I think baseball fans will love this.
Yeah, because when I think of the All-Star game, I mean, of course, famously Herm Edwards said, you play to win the game. But for this All-Star game, I think it's more about the fan experience, and they want to see the best players in baseball. Maybe Clayton Kershaw is not the best right now, but he is still one of the biggest names in the game, and I think fans just want to see him. So they're going to stick him on the All-Star team. Maybe he starts, maybe he doesn't, but he's going to be there because fans want to see him. So I think that was really cool. I don't feel like he's taking a roster spot against a guy who would be more deserving. I think he needs to be there.
And it's a legacy pick, and he just got his 3,000th strikeout. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. And finally, Patrick, let's talk some NFL football. Can you believe that later this month we will have an NFL game, man? It is here. Yeah. We made it. The Hall of Fame game will actually be on July 31st, so this month. And it'll be actually the Chargers against the Detroit Lions in the Hall of Fame game.
I love it, man. Football is so close. It's weird for sure. My wife's already preparing herself for her annual statement of see you in 4 months. Right?
I know, man. I think we're all excited. The Hall of Fame game, listen, they're not going to play the starters or whatever, but we're all just excited to see the return of football. In fact, the Chargers, because the Chargers and the Lions play in the Hall of Fame game, which is the first preseason game, it's the standalone game in that first week of the preseason, they get to start training camp earlier than everybody else. So July 16th, the Chargers open up camp. So if you pull out your calendar, Patrick, that's next week, man. Next week, the guys will be back in helmets and pads, man. Here we go.
You know Harbaugh likes that. He'll take any edge he can.
Inland Sports.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports Show. That was a clip from my segment on KCAL 96.7 FM with my boy Patrick in the morning, man. He is a big-time sports fan. We love chopping it up, and you can see or listen to me every month. You can see me on YouTube, but you can listen to me on KCAL every Monday and Thursday morning with Patrick. And tomorrow morning, I think we'll be talking probably Dodgers, 6-game skid, Blake Snell rehabbing with Rancho Cucamonga on Thursday. Probably talk about the upcoming Major League Baseball draft. Oh, and our guy Jaden Daniels has a big community day coming up on Saturday at Cajon High School. And the Washington team just announced that they're going to have a Super Bowl era uniform that they're going to wear on select dates for this upcoming NFL season, harkening back to their Super Bowl championship seasons from the 80s into the 90s. What was it? I think it was 83, 87, and 91 when the Redskins won those Super Bowl championships. I think so. If you're watching us live, maybe hit me up in the chat and let me know if I'm right. But I think it was 83, 87, and 91 for the Redskins when they won those Super Bowl titles. So, Patrick in the morning, KCAL 96.7 FM. If you want to rock out with some sports, check us out. All right. You know what? This upcoming week, I'm very excited about this. The Boost Man, Ray Bass, we're going to record some new content for the upcoming Inland Sports Show. I told you we've got a lot going on behind the scenes as we get ready to unveil some cool stuff coming up for the upcoming football season. We're going to check in with the Boost Man, Ray Bass, and film some fresh content for you guys as we get ready for the upcoming football season. But if you check us out here on the YouTube channel, you can go back into the vault, our old archives, and there's a ton of stuff from Boost Performance Training with the Boost Man Ray Bass. A lot of those 2-cent questions, 2-cent segments, and we had the gridiron question. So those will all be here. But Boost is transforming into Bass Athletics and the Bass Private School, which you've probably heard of. So there's a lot of cool things going on out there. But we do want to go back into the vault and bring up one of the old gridiron questions. And it's stuff that you guys were talking about that you wanted Ray Bass to kind of break down. He's good at everything. He's a former football player. He's a great coach. He's a great trainer, nutrition. He knows it all. So here's one of our old gridiron questions. It's a classic, but we dug it up from the vault for you guys because we just want to make you guys aware and remind everyone that fresh content is on the way from Bass Athletics. But in the meantime, check out this old classic from our gridiron question from about, I think it was about 2 years ago.
Well, look who it is. We are back here at the Boost Performance Center with another gridiron question with the one and only Coach Ray Bass. And Coach Bass, we've heard a lot about schools that, they want the kids who are held back here, maybe for various different reasons, to get some sort of a competitive advantage. Are those schools really necessary?
Absolutely. First, I think it's important to say that not all of these schools are created equal. And I think it's important that we start to change the conversation surrounding these types of schools and manage parents' expectations. So if you're a parent who wants your kid to go to a school like this because you want them to receive an athletic scholarship, well, only 2% of high school athletes receive a scholarship. And no matter how many schools like this that pop up, I don't believe those numbers are going to change. But if you're the parent of a student who wants to play sports in college, then the conversation needs to be, what can I do as a parent to put my kid in a position to achieve that? There's a lot that goes into earning athletic scholarship that doesn't always have to do with talent. So to go to a middle school that prioritizes academics, that prepares student athletes physically, and instills a strong work ethic, that can be very powerful going into high school. So we need to change the conversation surrounding these schools from, I want my child to become the best athlete so they can earn an athletic scholarship, to using athletics as the engine for greater achievement in life.
It all makes sense, and you heard it right here from the Boost man, Ray Bass. Again, this is the gridiron question. If you've got a question you'd like to ask Coach, make sure you hit Boost Training on Instagram, Twitter, and all the social media platforms. They'd love to hear from you.
All right, like I mentioned, fresh content coming from Ray Bass and Bass Athletics very soon. Probably as early as next week right here on the Inland Sports Show, so be on the lookout for that. All right, a very short and sweet episode. Again, trying to dedicate more of my time behind the scenes to prepare for the upcoming football season. If you're a coach out there, you know how much work it takes just to feel like you're ready, right, for that first week of the season. And that's how we feel, too. We want to make sure that we hit the ground running in week 0 on August 22nd. So a lot of things behind the scenes that we need to get ready and prepare for. So dedicating some of my time on that as opposed to just the Inland Sports Show this week. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the show. That was awesome to have Kevin Kraft, a sit-down interview with him, the new head football coach for the RCC Tigers. That was very cool. Appreciate it, Coach Kraft. All right, guys, give this video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. My name is Pep Fernandez. God bless you guys. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show. Good night.